Hey everyone, and happy Tuesday! That's right, it's your girl, hashtag JLoan in the building. It's another Tuesday, another tip, and of course, it's your favorite! I have been kind of quiet. I know I have been kind of quiet, but I am working on some things, and so I did want to do a video today. I was here in the office and just been reading a lot of things, but first and foremost, let's really get into what today is. Today is Happy Giving Tuesday. Now, I know it's just a day that maybe we put to really try to get the movement of generosity in the world. But just like Valentine's Day or any other day, it's never really just a day. It's to put it in motion, that knowing every day we have something to give. And it's not always financial, right? Yes, money helps people, but how about your smile may change somebody's day? Holding the door for them, asking someone if you can help them with their groceries, getting them to the car. I do this often in the store every time I see somebody elderly. Volunteering your time. There's so many ways that you can give back, and I promise you in our world, or just in your heart, that giving is way more fulfilling than receiving. So I hope you give today in whatever way you feel suits your heart, and continue to do that every day. Okay? So I want to give you something because I don't want to say annoyed, but it really bothers me when there's a lot of false information in the world, or misleading. I don't want to say it's false because it could be true for some. But I do want to talk about a lot of misleading information that people see out there, and I feel like it makes a unrealistic expectation of mortgages or getting a mortgage. And I tell this all the time, right? Can you get loans down to 500 credit scores? Are there lenders out there that do that? Yes, I used to be one of those lenders, but by the end of every transaction, the process that my borrowers had to go through was nail biting. We're literally in tears and stressed out towards the end, because whether it's your car insurance, or whether it's your mortgage, or whether it's your car payment, all of those lenders base everything off of risk, right? So of course we all have a story to our credit, right? But all they see is what's on paper. All we see is what's on paper. We don't know that either you went through a divorce or a death or a job loss, or we don't know any of these things. We can only go by paper, right? You can't write letters of why your credit score's 500 and the lender all of a sudden says, you know what, yeah, we should lend on this. There's other factors that go into how can you get a loan at 500, right? Well, one, you got to put 10% down. So you got to have more assets. Everything else has to be in line. You can't be a job hopper. Your job has to be a certain way. You can't have any lates in the past 12 months, right? So yeah, I could put out there loans down to 500 credit score, and everybody and their mama would call me. But the reality is that just gets the phone ringing. And then when people call me, it's an unrealistic expectation, because everyone will feel that because they have scores that are lower, that I can miraculously get them a loan. And it is just to get the phone ring. I choose not to do that, right? I choose to do it a different way, which is provide information to you that will help you. Can I teach you about credit? Absolutely. If you have lower scores and you really want to buy a home and you have money saved and all of these things are in line, your job, your assets, everything else makes sense, but you just had an unfortunate past with credit and you need help, yeah, absolutely. I can help you. Many loan officers, well, not all, but many loan officers will spend the time to teach you how to correct those things. Or I can just blast out there 500 credit scores, get a loan, right? It just, when you call and I'm like, oh no, guess what? You don't meet it because I didn't give you all of the guidelines. It's kind of disappointing, right? So the reason I bring this up is I've been seeing a lot of zero out-of-pocket post, right? And they bother me, right? Because maybe there may be a rare situation. I don't know of one, but let's just say there is, because I don't want to negate anything out there or what maybe a builder may be willing to do. But I want to talk about zero down, right? There's two true 100% no money down loans, okay? And that's VA and USDA. These are 100% financing, which means you have no down payment, okay? Now, loans have two sides, right? You have your down payment and you have your closing costs. So, even if a veteran has 100% financing, meaning no money down, they still have closing costs, okay? USDA is 100% financing, which means no money down, but they still have closing costs, okay? And your closing costs are typically, I say to estimate at least 3% of your purchase price, okay? So it's not zero out of pocket, it's zero down. And these are the only two true 100% financing loans with no money down, right? As far as down payment is concerned. But you still got to have money for your closing costs. Not to mention, I don't know of one, and if there is one, comment below, inbox me. When you put an offer on a home, there's things that they want from you. One of those is your earnest money, right? So your earnest money, at least in this market, is roughly 1% of your sales price, okay? In the market the years before, not too long ago, it wasn't just 1% because you were competing with 70,000 people, right? So people were putting more than 1% down, right? But at minimum, 1% earnest money on the contract of the sales price. In addition to that, how many of you want to buy a home and you don't know whether the home has major issues with it, right? So you have to pay a inspection fee, okay? In addition to this inspection fee, well, not in addition, this can range anywhere from $350 plus, okay? Now, the only way that you get this inspection is because you give something to the seller called your option fee. Now, this option fee ranges, but the least I've seen is 100 to 500, and I've seen way more than that in tougher markets. This gives you the option to back out of the contract within a certain amount of days from the day that you sign the contract. This is when you do your inspections to make sure, hey, I really want to buy this home. It doesn't have major issues, or I'm willing to take on these issues, or now I have negotiating power because I know what's really wrong with this home, right? So you have these things. So forget the fact of 100% financing. You still got to have money, right? Because how are you going to promise you're going to buy the home, right? So they hold the home for you. Who buys a home without getting an inspection on it? And in order for you to have that time to back out of the contract, you got to pay the seller this. So our market today, average price maybe $350,000 to $400,000. For easier numbers, I'm going to use $400,000. So on a $400,000 home, let me switch sides. So on a $400,000 home, right? This earnest money, that's $4,000. Okay, you still have this inspection fee. Let's just say on the low end, it's $350. And then let's just say on the low end, your option is $100. That's $4,450 that you still need. So the other thing that bothers me is when it's given out into the world that you just don't have to have money in the bank, right? I mean, would you want to buy a home with no money in the bank? Can't furnish the home. God forbid something happens, right? Like, things happen. Like, I've had borrowers close on homes and major rain happened 2 weeks later, and all the rain came through the fireplace and flooded the living room. Didn't come up on an inspection. Didn't come up on anything. Guess who had to pay for it? The buyer, right? And so, not only that, with guidelines being how they are, it's very hard for you to even get through automated underwriting if you have no money in the bank, right? You see this right here? These two fees right here, this $350 and $100. The thing that they don't tell you, right? Because what if this is all you had, right? But what if you did an inspection and you realize, oh no, this home has major issues. The seller is not willing to either fix them or negotiate. And so now you back out of the contract. You know what you don't get back? This. So now you just lost $450. Now, if this is all you have, now you have $4,000 in the bank, but you don't have the rest of the money to do it. So now you're trying to piece A, B, and C together, right? So I just say on this Giving Tuesday, it's very important for you to really just try to be as knowledgeable as you can with the information that's put out. Again, we all could put 4% interest rate, 5% interest rate, and not really tell you how you get that. But there's so much public information. Rates, if you want to know what the average rates are, you can find that online, right? It's public information. You can find it online, whether it's bank rate or just type in what are mortgage rates today, rates will pop up. Every lender are really close together, you know? So yes, there's sometimes a quarter or a half of a point difference, but we're all really similar to where others are, right? That's public information. And so again, with down payment assistance, this is public information, right? If you're using T-Shack here in Texas, those rates are posted daily, right? If you're seeing things online and you're seeing that rates are in the, let's just say, 7s, and people are advertising 4s, something in your mind has to say, well, how is that possible, right? Can I truly buy a home with no money in the bank, no money down? I don't need any money. I'm showing you right here that even if your down payment and your closing costs were covered by VA and then the seller gave you the closing costs, you still need money. You still got to get through underwriting. You still want to have some type of reserve for your life, for the just in case what happens. I mean, even home warranties have deductibles. They're everywhere. So I just hope that we work together to help each other, as there is a lot of misleading information out there. And I hope, my hope, and why I started Mortgage Tip Tuesdays was to provide the information to the borrower, to you, before you got into the process, to help you be more knowledgeable about how things are on the mortgage side and the ever-changing guidelines that happen. And so that was my way to give back to the non-mortgage community, even the mortgage community, because I learned from other loan officers, and some loan officers learn from me, right? So anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. I did want to make the video though, because it makes my skin cringe with so much, I don't know, when I see these posts out there, and it's just, to me, it's just very misleading, and it's just not the way I operate, not the way I do business, or feel it's not a way for me to attract leads and provide failed expectations. It's just not something I like to do, and to others, to each its own. But I did want to put that information out there so that you do have a good, idea of those out-of-pocket costs. And if there's rare instances or circumstances that you don't have to pay them, honestly, builders won't even start building your home until they know that you can qualify. And that's why most times they want you to use their in-house lender, because they don't really trust the outside lender, because they're putting their money on the line, right? So no one's going to build $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 home with no skin in the game, in hopes that you qualify and in hopes that you have the money. It just doesn't work that way. It's unrealistic. So it is a little colder than I like it to be here in Texas. I tell you guys all the time, I do not like the cold. I would love to be a bear during the winter and just hibernate and do nothing, because the cold, I do not like it. So it's been a little cold here. I got my heater on in my office, so therefore no sleeves. But I hope that you guys stay warm or cool wherever you are, and that you have a fantastic rest of your week. If I can help you or someone 817-601-5456. It's your girl, #JLoan in the building. I want you to be safe, be blessed, and talk to you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.